In the last video, I made this set of storage cabinets for the upper section of wall in my small shop. I still have a lot of smaller items left to deal with, so today we are going to make a smaller set for the lower section. As is tradition, I need to clear off some space on the tables and around the tools before I can even get started. At some point, I would love to be able to start a project without having to do this, but I don't know if that will ever be the case. I hope you can relate. For some reason, this is an ongoing theme in here. I'm going to build these out of my favorite shop furniture plywood, 3/4 inch radiata pine from the Home Depot. For me, this has been the best bang for buck material for shop furniture. There might be something cheaper or better to be had from a supplier, but I don't have one of those convenient and close by. I have a really small shop with limited working space, so I start by breaking down full sheets of material in half with a circular saw. This makes running the material through the saw a lot easier. I'm not too concerned with the straight cut at this point because I will use the factory edge for that moving forward. Once cut into more manageable pieces, I can start trimming all the parts down to size. I'm going to make these 11.5 inches deep to match the upper set. I still haven't made a cross-cut sled for the saw, so I cut the long strips in half so I can do this safely on the table saw. It's much safer using a sled, but since I don't have one yet, I am opting to use this method. I felt confident with the right pressure applied against the fence I could do this safely. With all the main panels finished, I can start with the rabbets and dados. Instead of using shelf pins like the last set, I'm going to use a method I discovered in a woodworking magazine a few years back. It's a very simple system using dados as tracks to allow your shelves and/or drawers to slide in. I make almost all of my shop furniture this way, and it has served me well over the years. I'll be using 1/4 inch material for the shelves, so I am cutting 3/8 inch dados for them to slide in, using this box joint cutter set from Freud. I've spaced the dados to give me a variety of height options based on what ends up going in these, as you will see later on. With all the main panel parts cut and prepared, I can measure for the back panels. I always seem to cut something wrong when planning this out on paper, so I have found it easiest to just set up a box and get my measurement this way. I have a lot of scrap material laying around right now from some of the house projects, so I'll be able to use that up for the backs. This is 1/4 inch sanded plywood left over from the fireplace project. Here's a link for that video if you want to learn how to build a simple set of built-ins. These are going to be assembled the exact same way as the last set, using butt joints, glue, and screws. It's a very simple construction method, which is perfect for my shop furniture projects. Right here you can see one of the mistakes I made. I was thinking about turning some of these shelves into actual drawers at some point, like the other ones in my shop. By cutting this rabbet at the bottom, it would give support for the drawer. What I didn't think about was now only having 3/8 of an inch of contact at this joint, making assembly a little trickier and possibly weakening the joint over time. I thought about cutting the panels down, which wouldn't be the end of the world, but figured if I used longer screws and stayed to the side of the rabbet that I would be okay. So that's what I ended up doing. When I install the back panel, I mark where the dados are so I don't accidentally shoot a nail or staple in there, which would prevent the shelf or drawer from sliding properly. There's also no need to square the box up using the corner-to-corner method because I've cut the back panels pretty snug. Just have to tap it in and nail it off. On the back of the boxes, I mount a French cleat on what will be the top and then a spacer piece on the bottom. This spacer will hold the box plumb on the wall once installed. With all the boxes built, I can get the French cleat installed on the wall. If you don't know how to do that, here's a link to the video showing you how to do it. For the shelves, I am going to use 1/4 inch thick MDF. Using MDF for these style of drawers and shelves really allows them to slide a lot easier. I am using all of the same cutting methods from before to make these. All that's left to do is hang these on the wall and get the shelves slid in. I ended up making 8 of these so the length matched the set above. I'm really happy with how they turned out. And maybe, just maybe, now that I have a spot for all of my smaller items, I won't have to clean before starting the next project. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.